This one time at band camp. Welcome back to Bizarre Podcast Dogs Must Die. My name is Grant. You can call him Chip. And today we are talking about episodes 27, 28, and 29 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Unbreakable.
I believe we said the episode title of this first episode that we're going to be talking about today, called I'm an Alien, which is a more literal title than I originally thought this this episode title was going to be when I first watched this.
Don't you remember Let's Go Hunting or We Found Something Weird? They're all very descriptive.
I should really just take the episode title at face value at this point. Also, I just now noticed in the OP that you can see Saint Gentleman in the background. Look at that.
But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. This is our first recording after the holidays, and boy, I got some stories.
Oh, right, yeah.
I got, you know the broad strokes. You know, I was like texting you during some of these events, but there are details that will be new to you.
All right, hit me.
My plans, my wife and I, we went to see our families, and the plan was to stay with our friends who were in turn going to see their families. So basically, we would have a little like home base to go from that while we were house sitting for these friends of ours. And like the last thing we did they would come to their home and we would catch up and then just hit the road and go. So it's Christmas Eve. We wake up. I'm upstairs taking care of our dog who we brought with us. She is downstairs taking care of the cats for our gracious hosts. Their cats, take their food and everything in the basement.
Right.
And then I hear a call. A question, a shout. Our friend's sump pump had died overnight, and hooray, Christmas Eve flooding all through the basement. Not bad, not deep, just like a stream or river snaking through.
Okay.
So I start my day. After, I've fed Mo and I've gotten dressed, I'm ready to like see some aunts and cousins and things, things like that.
Yeah.
So now I'm just lifting and moving all of these, storage basement boxes that our friends don't even know what's in them. I found an old CD collection. I'm not sure which of them it belonged to, but they were really into Eve 6. I know that.
Oh, okay.
These boxes, of course, that at least one of the cats has decided is her apartment, is these boxes. They're covered in hair. And so we're texting back and forth with them, like, what do you want to do? How should we handle this? Just trying to get things that can get wet away from the wet, and like moving the litter boxes and the food bowls into the other end of the basement, which the cats don't like because cats like, familiarity. And so our friends are trying to like contact emergency plumbers who would be working on December the 24th and having no luck because all of their ranges are like not covering where their house actually is. So eventually they just order a new sump pump, and our friend's brother happened to have the morning free and was going to come swing by and replace it, but they needed to get numbers and measurements, and I don't know where they keep their like rulers or measuring tape in this house. But what I do have is I have a roll of wrapping paper that I know is 30 inches long. And if I hold that over the hole and it goes about healthy ways past halfway, I know this is an 18-inch in diameter hole, and I feel pretty confident about that measurement. The end of the story, just a quick spoiler, is that everything is fine.
Okay.
No harm came to any pets or properties. Everything worked out just a-okay, which is why I feel safe in complaining about how my nice Christmas outfit was all ruined, covered in cat hair and box dust, and I felt very grumpy about it.
Oh, man.
So I went up and changed, and then this wonderful brother came to switch things out just as we were leaving to go to my aunt's house. And then, we come back in the evening and see that while we were gone, he emptied a whole other closet of stuff to protect it from the small amount of flooding that I didn't even know was there. And I felt so bad that this dude alone cleaned out so much more of their storage space and then replaced the sump pump. Everything's fine. Okay. It's all okay. But then the next day happened.
Oh, no.
So the next day, if you were paying attention, you'll know that this is Christmas Day. I'm spending with my in-laws who live in the middle of nowhere. Now, most people who say the middle of nowhere, they mean like, 2 miles out of town where there's cornfields. Mm-hmm. No. My in-laws' home, the 3 nearest towns have 1 stoplight each. And so living out in such a place, there are critters. There's wildlife. The wildlife includes feral cats that live out in the woods. Mm-hmm. And they take pity on these poor creatures, and especially because these cats just love to have their wild feral kittens under the porch.
Oh.
And that leaves you with a feeling of responsibility at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So essentially they have 4 or 5 outdoor cats that have adopted them. Mm-hmm. And so my brother-in-law has essentially turned their porch into a hotel for outdoor cats to come and go. There's water, there's occasionally food, there's bundles of straw so they can get up off of the cold, drafty tile floor.
Okay.
Everything is nearly all enclosed. They have a couple remote cameras to watch the cats to see if they're okay.
Yeah, okay. If you're getting critters under your porch like that, that's just what you got to do. You got to have the cameras. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Otherwise, what's the point?
Food's done, gifts are done, everybody's caught up. We're about to start moving toward making our goodbyes. You know that stage of a visit.
It can take anywhere from 15 minutes to 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
This was one of the latter because that's when the cameras caught a possum.
Oh.
So now we can't leave during the possum episode, obviously. We have to stick around for possum time. So my brother-in-law, who's a very large man, he's around my height and 3 times my width.
Oh, my God.
He's a large man.
3 grants wide.
That's how they measure pants in grant widths. So he goes out with a pair of thick gardening gloves and a one of those aluminum grabby hands with the trigger to get things off the tall shelves.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to trap this possum and make sure the possum doesn't steal the food for the nice outdoor cats. Mm-hmm. So this takes a while. For a while, we thought that the possum just escaped unseen, but no, it was hiding in a corner under a thing. Possum comes out and gets stashed in a plastic tub, like a tote, with a lid, and he stretches a bungee cord over the lid to seal it in. And now it's time to release the possum elsewhere. And my mother-in-law says, "Hey, Grant, go release the possum."
Oh, God.
So I get my coat on, okay, it comes out during this event that this all happened 2 days ago with a different possum, a different larger possum. So there is a procedure has been established for what to do.
Oh, good.
I'm not necessary, really. It worked just fine 2 days earlier.
Yeah.
But I'm still going. This is the first time I have known this man for about half my life. Mm-hmm. This is the first time we spent significant one-on-one time.
Oh, wow. And it's wrangling a possum.
And this is also the first time where I was pretty sure I wasn't going to be shot and left in a ditch.
Okay.
We've come a long way, my brother-in-law and I.
Well, that's great. All it took was bonding with a possum.
When he got his concealed carry, permit, he really wanted me to know about it in no uncertain terms. So we are rambling along down the road to like this nature preserve or campground or something of that nature where he knows a guy.
Okay.
So like if we get caught, we're not trespassing because he knows a guy, right? Why would anyone care? Why would anyone catch it? It's not like we even went in. We just like went along a public road alongside it, pulled off and just went down literally 15, 20 feet down a trail into it. Like,
Okay.
that doesn't even count. But everyone's paranoid about everything. And my whole job is to take a flashlight. And so that he does not, I guess, trip over whatever else is in the woods here.
Okay.
And we chat, and there's a possum in the back. And we get out in this appointed spot, which I have described, and suddenly there's not a possum in the back anymore because it's time to release the possum. Let me share with you the picture of releasing the possum.
Oh, man.
Now, what you will see in this picture is that brown thing in the box. That's the back 2/3 of a possum.
Okay.
You will also see my brother-in-law's hand taking a much better picture of this possum.
Oh, that's missing the face of the possum, the best part.
So we release the possum, we turn around, right behind us, what we do not realize until we turn around and start walking away, is a dead deer that someone got and then ran off and then died in hunting season, but was not found.
Oh, boy.
We are hearing many coyotes.
Oh, God.
And then drive back to the house where finally we can finish the time to go dance and say our goodbyes. And that's how I spent my Christmas vacation.
Oh, wow. Like I said to you when you first told me that, like, hey, I've got possum things happening. I was just thinking, like, man, if I ever met a possum, I would be probably trying to get too close to it because I've seen too many cute ones on the internet. And now I want to...
How close is too... Am I too close taking this picture, or is my brother-in-law too close taking his picture?
Well, I mean, he's in a little tub. It's fine, I think, there. It's not like he's going to launch a couple feet up into the air to bite you, I would think. But
I'm just to like the tub. Had to tip the tub.
Oh, he liked
like,
the tub.
Really inclined to get him out and then waddling away into the underbrush.
Okay. I'm just thinking like when the possum was like under the porch or something, I would be like getting just in there a little bit too deep to look at the possum.
Well, that's what the gardening clubs are for.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't really think possums bite too much. I've seen some videos of dudes just going like, yo, you can just pick up a possum.
Well, possums are one of the safest wild critters because they are, like, biologically immune to rabies. They
Right.
cannot contract or transmit it.
That's right. I forgot about that. Well, now I got to look for possums. What's the worst that can happen? It'll bite me a little bit. Who cares? Pick up a possum.
They can have fleas and flea-borne illnesses,
Yeah.
but, the big one is not a problem.
Yeah. Love possums. I mean, maybe it's just the perspective of the photo. The possum's a little smaller than I thought he would be.
It's not a particularly large possum, no.
Yeah.
It was a little guy.
Okay. And he wasn't, like, freaking out or anything during this whole thing? He was just kind of hanging out?
I mean, no, it wasn't wobbling. I did carry the tub. Mm-hmm. He seemed pretty calm about the whole thing.
All right, cool.
So anyway, episode 27, I'm an alien.
No possums in this.
No. Pretty much everything else, though.
Yeah, just about everything else is in this episode.
So we open on Pappy Kira flying around in his photo, pulled forth by the arrow, looking for who's going to be his next victim when he finds an elf of Mirkwood.
Yeah. It's a teen in what appears to be a pretty similar school uniform to all the other, to Josuke no Kiyasu, but yeah, he's got elf ears.
He's got elf ears. He's got, like, a lumbar-length straight hair. This is Legolas's cousin. Trying to get as far as possible from Grandpa Thranduil, which, you know what? Fair. So Elder Kira says to himself, that boy will be the 6th new stand user I've created. What a busy day.
Yeah, he's really getting around. Like, especially by this point, because Pappy Kira is basically always talking out loud to himself, to no one else.
Well, he has no friends.
Yeah, but he seems like every time he appears in each episode, he seems to get more and more like he's just having fun doing this. Like, almost like he's completely forgotten what the goal is. It's just like, man, it's fun making stand users.
Maybe he's the self-insert. Anybody considered this?
Whoa.
So he lets this arrow fly, and instead of piercing the neck of our friendly elf, it instead just sort of bounces off. It leaves a scratch, but this is a very unusual reaction. And Kira is not a fan of this. He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, like
and this is when we get our first real, like, head-on look, at the front of this boy.
Mm-hmm. Elven features on the face too, but he's also got a nose piercing that has a chain on it that connects to his earring, and his school uniform has a ton of medallions on it, like every other cool teen in the show does.
Yeah, his medallions seem to be taking the place of buckles, or maybe they're just very large buckles holding his jacket together.
Yeah.
But they are in the shapes of, like, UFOs and stars.
Yeah, and planets and stuff like that. Pappy Kira is confused because not only is it weird to have this arrow just bounce off somebody, it's bouncing off someone the arrow specifically, like, chose, too. This elven dude is completely unaffected. He barely even realizes that he's been hit by anything.
And that's when we cut to the first instance of the third opening of Diamond is Unbreakable. It starts off like it's the Kira show, essentially. I like the front and center. You're here to see Kira, baby.
Yep. I believe the song is called Breakdown. They say it a lot at the start. The word breakdown is constantly exploding and then reforming, and every time it explodes, it's revealing a different image behind it.
Like it's an eternal struggle between Crazy Diamond and Killer Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But after that segment, then we get our teen heroes just leaving trails through town. Every frame is left behind like a fucking Windows Solitaire windscreen.
Yeah.
And then our final segment is essentially Raimi leading everyone in heroic sky pointing.
Yes. Yeah, pointing to the sky that the camera pulls high up into the sky, and we can see other characters who have died are also in the clouds pointing down at the living characters. So you can see Shigechi up in heaven.
Dr. Aya floating around having to deal with Shigechi up in heaven.
Oh, man. I don't think that would be I don't think those two would get along. I don't know.
What's wrong with your face? I can fix it. What do you mean? I'm a perfect little boy. So back in the episode proper, our narrator-voiced Speedwagon agent is delivering their Kira dossier to Jotaro. All of the information that the Speedwagon Foundation can possibly collect on this anonymous man.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Kai Harada is putting out a program on the air. He must record his bumpers in advance. That's how he's in two places at once.
Yeah. It's his secret identity. Like, this is his cover. Both of them are noting that while Kira may be trying to lay low right now as he's just assumed this other man's identity, there's no way he isn't going to make a move and possibly, expose himself in public in some way, because it's just now summer in Morio.
Yes. Tourist season has begun.
Yep.
July 1st is when they open the beaches and everything. July 1st, 1999 is also the day that Edward Dmytryk died. He was a famed director of film noir and once was blacklisted for refusing to testify to the HUAC. So, that has nothing to do with anything because this episode does not take place on July the 1st. They just kind of talk about it as a recent event.
Yeah. But yeah, you do get a lot of panning shots of different areas of Morio now that they are flooded with tourists. Morio is a tourist destination for people from like Tokyo and other cities, mainly
S-City, of course.
S-City, yes. It's mostly like camping and fishing and like sailing and stuff like that. Lots of outdoorsy activities in Morio.
I love the like middle-aged to retirement age backpacker with a tennis racket sticking out of his backpack.
And he's got like 20 buttons on his hat.
Hat is covered in buttons. He's turned buttons into scale mail on his hat.
Yeah, that dude.
That's the most honest look at a tourist I've ever seen. Like, hell yeah.
Yeah, and he's like looking at the camera and he's just so happy. Like, this dude is prepared to have a good ass vacation.
So now the narrator uses his most sinister voice to segue us over to Kira, looking down at some very killable young women walking on the sidewalk outside of his new home.
Yeah.
Which means that this one guy just played 3 characters in a minute. Respect to you.
Incredible. But yeah, he transitions because like the camera pans up and it's, a bright summery day. And while we're looking at the sky, it just kind of fades from daytime to nighttime. The clouds get all dark and sinister looking. When it pans down, we're at Kira's new home. And the narrator asks, what are you going to do this summer? That's right. There are many fun things to do, but it's not just upstanding moral citizens that want to have fun. As Kira is like, seeing these 3 young women walk down the sidewalk right outside his house, and he's like biting his nails and running his hand down the mirrors. He's like sweating, like,
because tourist season means people are away from their networks. No one's expecting to hear from them for a few days anyway.
Yeah,
plenty of time for a trail to go cold.
And Kira is trying to resist his urges to kill. As he is doing this, you can visibly see his fingernails like grow an inch.
You think this whole thing, do you think Kira would have been way worse off in like the age of Instagram?
Oh God. Yeah.
Because all of these, like his favored class of victim especially, would be documenting every 15 minutes of their vacation.
God, yeah. It's a good thing Kira wasn't using the internet at this point. Like, that would just give him way more access to way more. I wonder if Kira's the type of dude who would actually leave his town to go kill people elsewhere, because there's been some dialogue in the past that makes it clear that he's pretty attached to Morio. So I don't know if he would go elsewhere, in search of hunting people.
But anyway, he's clawing at his window, panting like the horny wolf from a cartoon, and decides, no, I gotta calm myself, gotta center myself. I'm going to practice my victim's signature so that I can fit in better in his new life.
Yeah. It almost feels like Kira is struggling through No Nut November right now or something. That's kind of how it comes off. The amount of profuse sweating and just, he's gross.
It's no slaughter summer, and he's having a real hard time with it.
Yeah. So yeah, he's practicing this guy's handwriting, and he is like cursing Jotaro and Josuke in his thoughts as his wife Shinobu comes up the stairs, and she's got tea.
And you know what they say, fellas. When your wife brings you a tea tray, she wants to fuck.
And yeah, that is exactly what is happening here. And like when she comes in, he's shocked, and he grabs a different book to put on top of the notebook where he's practicing the writing so that, that doesn't look weird to her. But yeah, he starts drinking the tea. Like, she's already blushing when she brings the tea in. Like, she's already got ideas, and so she's laying on the bed deciding like, oh geez, it's so late, it's like 10 p.m. or something like that.
Ladies, you walk in on your husband, he's reading some like nonfiction, whatever it is. How do you approach? What's your open?
And so she's like, oh, I'm so tired, guess it's time to hit the sack. And she starts undressing, and immediately there's like a dramatic turnaround of Kira's face go like, oh shit, this lady's so easy to kill right now. Like, he's just looking at like her exposed neck, and he gets up, and it's just like, oh man, this is like, it's strangle time. It's time to strangle.
It's so strangle time, but he can't do strangle time. It's too soon. He's too vulnerable. And so in the last moment before he just like wrings the life out of Shinobu, he tears his hands away, which in just a moment of clumsiness, like grabs the back of her dress and tears it open, buttons popping off everywhere.
Yep.
And she's really into that.
Yeah. And he's just trying to not be suspicious. So he's just apologizing, saying, sorry, I scared you. My bad. I didn't mean to do that. And the whole time she's just like, wow, this is fucking hot.
Yeah, come on. And then I'm like Old Faithful down here. Come on, let's go.
And as she is thinking about that, like she's on the floor, like all turned on and stuff, the camera looks up and there's a small glint, a shine on the ceiling of this bedroom. And when the camera zooms in on it, there's a little camera embedded in the ceiling.
Ominous ceiling lens. So it's the next day. The next morning, Okuyasu and Josuke are walking down some country road. I do not know why. I mean, I guess they're off of school, so they're just exploring, seeking the adventure of the day. Yeah. And they find a crop circle with a dead elf in the center.
Yeah. Like Okuyasu is just freaking out that they found a genuine crop circle. And yeah, right in the center of it, the elven dude is in there, but he's kind of like gone to bed. He's tucked himself in with a bunch of straw over him, so you could barely tell there's a guy there.
So yeah, it turns out he's awake. He just looks dead. And when he wakes up, he stands up like a Dracula. He's totally stiff and like levers up from his heels to a standing position somehow.
So Josuke and Okuyasu are a little confused. This dude's got motherfucking elf ears. What the hell is this? This guy just starts asking, "Hey, where am I? What is this place?" And they're telling him about, this is, the area that they're in. And this guy just says, "Oh man, I must have just passed out. I was feeling really sick last night. I just kind of fainted in this field. Looks like I've been unconscious for over 13 Earth hours."
So he does not outright say he's an alien, but he's very clearly saying he's an alien.
Yeah.
And Josuke and Okuyasu pick up on that and think it's the funniest bit they've ever heard. They fall down on themselves laughing, like, you made a crop circle and you're an alien. Dude, you're fucking hilarious, man. This dude's wild. You don't even understand.
Yeah.
The absolute lad.
Yeah. And so then, like, this elven alien guy just looks kind of confused, and so he reaches into his little, like, messenger bag, and he just pulls out some weird random box and just silently holds it out to them, and that also makes him just start cracking up. And they're like, "Okay, no, really, who are you? Where are you from?"
And he is maintaining that he is from the Magellanic Clouds, and his home planet was destroyed, and now he's checking out Earth to see if it and its people are a suitable new home. That does not narrow things down at all. The large Magellanic cloud is a fucking galaxy. It's 14 light years wide.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it's 14,000 light years wide.
Yeah, goddamn. And so now Josuke and Okuyasu are just like, "Okay, the joke is really funny, but you got to learn when to stop committing to the bit. This is going on too long now. You're ruining the joke." They notice he's got the scratch on his neck. It's still bleeding a little bit. And so Josuke pulls out like a tiny little pack of tissues, like, "Here, just clean yourself up." And this alien dude just looks at the little pack of tissues, and then he just crams the whole thing in his mouth and swallows it whole. And he's just like, "That was great. Thank you."
Now, this is the cornerstone of, like, fish out of water, alien visitor comedy. Like, I'm pretty sure this happens in Earth Girls Are Easy. Like, come on, everybody does this bit. It's great. Yep. Everyone loves it.
Earth Girls Are Easier is a pretty good movie, by the way.
It's got Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, I like that movie. Also, isn't Jim Carrey one of the aliens?
Yes.
Yeah. Josuke and Okuyasu are just kind of walking down the road, and this alien guy is just following them. And Josuke and Okuyasu's plan is to walk through this field and get into the town proper so that they could buy some ice cream. It is not after school, actually. It's the morning before school, and Okuyasu just has a tradition, a routine of getting ice cream in the morning.
Yes, he complains that, the ice cream store is usually open at 8 a.m. on a Monday. What gives? And I say, yeah, if your ice cream store is open at 8 a.m. on a Monday, that's weird, but it's extra weird if it's not after the beaches are open.
Yeah.
This is the one Monday it ought to be open. So looking at July 1999 calendar, if the first Monday is the 5th of July, so that is the day that our story primarily takes place. However, that does mean that we learned the beaches were open and everything in scenes that took place on the 4th. The 4th of July being very sinister to tourists. Gotta think of Jaws. Probably not a Jaws reference, but it puts me in mind of Jaws.
Yeah. Okuyasu is crushed. There's no ice cream for today, this morning. And the alien just reaches into his bag, and he's just got 2 plastic wrapped, still cold somehow, ice cream cones in there.
And they're suspicious and a little confused, and he insists, well, would you like the cream?
Yes. I think at some point he asks, like, do you like the ice of cream?
Are the ice of creams unsatisfactory?
Yeah. So they're still just very confused and like, oh, no, what is your name? Not what galaxy are you from? Your name. And so his name is Nu Miki Takazo Nshi, Nshi.
He is 216 years old. He pilots his own ship solo. He likes house pets and keeps a little mouse in his bag.
Yeah. And there's like one shot of him going like, look at this mouse I got, but he's petting it and like so fully cupping his hand over it you can't even see the mouse. And so now Josuke and Okuyasu engage in some telepathy and start talking to each other via their thoughts somehow.
This is fucking wild ass shit, and it comes up twice.
Yeah. They just know each other so well that they just know what each other is saying, I guess.
And what they're thinking about is whether to beat this guy's ass preemptively. Because he's so weird, he must be a stand user.
Yeah. There's a really funny bit here in their first, like, telepathic exchange where they're thinking, like, okay, we're going to agree that we just need to find a way to, like, test this guy to see if he's got a stand or something. And then you see Okuyasu's hands lifting up into the frame with the ice cream cone he's got. And then Josuke just thinks, don't eat the ice cream. And Okuyasu picks up on that and doesn't eat the ice cream.
Voice actor notes. These are some fun ones. Our elf friend here, we've heard his English voice before in one of our projects. He's the voice of Leslie in the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, shit. I can hear it now, yeah. That makes sense.
And his Japanese voice dubbed Eminem in 8 Mile.
Okay, that's fun.
So they are continuing to investigate, find out as much as they can about this alleged alien. And they're like, okay, if you got a spaceship, why don't you show us? And he says, yeah, I could. In a few days. It's going to take a while to get here. It's parked 1.5 million kilometers away.
Yeah.
For the record, that's 4 times the distance from the Earth to the moon.
And while they're doing this too, Okuyasu is just trying to observe this alien guy from different angles. So he's like leaning over to the side and looking at him sideways. And as he's doing this, the alien guy is just like mimicking all of Okuyasu's actions and
and only Okuyasu's. He doesn't do anything with Josuke.
Yeah, and so Okuyasu noticed that, so he just starts like picking his nose. So the alien is picking his nose and like confused, like why would anyone do this?
So they have another psychic communication about beating his ass.
Yeah. They just go like, okay, so you're an alien? And this guy's just like, oh, yes, that's a great word to use. I am an alien.
How come your blood's not green then?
Yeah, all alien, like, Josuke just says everyone knows that aliens have green blood.
And before he can come up with an explanation for that sort of discrepancy, there's a fire in town, and so there are fire sirens as the trucks go by, and the sounds do not agree well with our elf friend's sort of constitution. He begins turning pink, and like he's breaking out into hives, and he just cannot handle this sound.
Yeah, he just starts screaming and shouting, and it's so painful for him that he just runs across the road and leaps into a bush.
So Josuke runs after him into this bush. Like, nobody can tell me that they're an alien, expect me to believe it, and then jump into a bush. I'm following. So as he gets in there, the legs of this man, they turn into giant flat tentacles, these legs.
Yeah, there's something about the way they are colored and shaded, because they're kind of like a bright, like sky blue. It almost looks like his bottom half is made out of tentacles comprised of airheads. Airhead candy.
Yes.
That's what it looks like. He looks gummy. and fruit flavored.
And then all of him, top to bottom, becomes one big blue ball of linguine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he is just shouting to Josuke, like, please save me from the sound that I'm allergic to. I will do anything if you help me. And then he goes, here, I'll turn into a pair of sneakers. Just run away from this sound. And so now he turns into a cool pair of sneakers that Josuke is now wearing. And it allows Josuke to jump 300 feet into the air.
Like, this is straight up a kid's made-for-TV movie now.
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Meeting like, this got greenlit after Flight of the Navigator. It was made on a budget of $20,000 and a carton of smokes.
Yeah, and they gave him all the child actors.
I've seen this movie 4 times.
Yep. And so, yeah, Josuke is just flying through the air, and he looks down at his magic sneakers and goes, are you really an alien? And this is when we get our interstitial card that shows our alien friend and his stand ? Which is named Earth, Wind, and Fire.
I don't think we got to explain who Earth, Wind, and Fire is, although I'm sure there are a lot of people who wish the story was set about 2.5 months later, regardless. But I mean, it is an open question, right? In the entire history of this character, whether he is an alien with inherent biological and or technological abilities, or if he is a stand user that does not understand stands.
Yeah.
I think it's the former. I think he's telling the truth. I think he's a fucking weird alien, and we are just categorizing his inherent abilities in stained terms, much the same way as, say, the Elder Kira's ghost abilities in a photograph is categorized as a stand, even though I also don't think it is one.
Yeah, I think he's just got ghost powers.
And I could be wrong on both of these fronts. I'm not married to the idea. It's just what I'm going to say.
Yeah. So after we come back from the interstitial, Josuke is running straight up a vertical surface. He is climbing the walls of his school, of a big building. I think it's his school, actually. So yeah, he walks all the way up to the top, and the sneakers pop off and start forming into the alien again. And as he's like mid-forming, Josuke brings out Crazy Diamond to just sock this dude in the face. But stops just the barest distance away, and the elf does not flinch, implying he does not see Crazy Diamond, implying he is not a stand user. Yep. So the alien is just like, hey, man, thanks. Thank you for getting me away from that sound I'm allergic to. I will do anything you want to repay you. And he's like, I can basically shapeshift into any object for the most part. Or even
a collection of objects. He became 2 shoes after all.
Yeah. The only limitation is that he can't form complex objects like machinery. Like he can't turn into a car or anything.
He could turn into a sculpture of a car.
Yeah, he
could look like a car, but you could not put gas in him and go.
Yeah. And so he's got like this book with him that's just got like, it's from like a Kamayu store, it looks like, and it's just like a shopping catalog or something. So it's like, do you want me to turn into anything in here? So Josuke gets a sudden bright idea that feels very adjacent to how he was trying to scam Shigechi a little bit.
Yeah, and speaking of, it is related because Josuke has been having some financial issues.
Yeah.
Once his mom found out that he scammed the lottery, he does not have access to that 1 2/3 million yen anymore. He got cut off.
Yeah, it's just stored in a bank account he can't do anything with yet. So Josuke, he flips to a certain page in the book and he goes, can you morph into this? And he points at some dice. And he apologizes for not knowing what dice are. Like, that's a moral failing. Like, that's a problem for him. So Josuke starts describing what dice are, and where the numbers are, and how the opposite sides always add up as 7. And so the alien's just like, oh shit, yeah, I get this. Here we go. And he turns into a die, and it's like a 3-foot tall die. It's huge.
I have to respect this for Araki figuring out a way to give explanations for things that do not require explanations.
Yeah. Josuke's just like, okay, well, dice are smaller than this, about yay big. And so the alien shrinks down and he picks up the die. And when he picks it up, the alien giggles because he's ticklish. And he just goes like, die, don't giggle.
And also we're getting the Josuke like victory theme music for a dude turning into a die.
Yeah. And so now Josuke is all pumped up and he's just like, all right, get ready to lose a bunch of money, Rohan.
So he goes to Rohan's house. Rohan's house has had more action than anybody's house, I think.
Yep.
And I have no idea what event Rohan got dressed for today, but it ain't shooting dice with a teenager. I know that.
Oh, man, it's wild. It's like a crop top with slits.
It's a crop sweater with shoulder vents and other slits. Yeah.
And he's got like these big, like,
huge oversized clown pants held up by suspenders over his skin tight pants.
Yes, yeah, it's a wild outfit.
He's layering pants.
It's research. It's research for his manga.
So Josuke knocks on the door and he's like, hey, you're not going to believe this, but I would love to see some advanced pages of what you call it. I don't know, Teal Shadow Man, whatever. I love that book.
And Rohan's immediately like, fuck you. No, you're not. Why are you here? Fucking give me the truth. And so Josuke's like, okay, all right, you caught me. I only have $300. I need more money. Play me at dice. Play me at CeeLo.
Ever since Shigechi died, Rohan is the only person Josuke knows who has money.
Yeah.
Oh, what? He's going to scam his dad? No, thank you. He's only got traveler's checks. He still hasn't exchanged those.
Yeah. Rohan agrees to play CeeLo, but not because he's interested in the game or anything. He just wants to... He just enjoys the idea of making Josuke poorer.
I'd like to interject with a thought that came up here. Essentially, how dangerous Kira is as a villain entirely hinges on how much he likes manga.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Yep. God, yeah, if you could just get Heaven's Door on him, you could just write, I'm no longer a serial killer, and also I confess. I go to the police and I confess.
I can see Kira going either way, so I'm going to propose a compromise. I think Yoshikage Kira really likes manga as long as it's Astro Boy or older.
Yeah, I agree.
He only reads manga older than he is.
Yeah, it's whatever old manga he found and read as a kid, and that's all he is interested in. And you can not convince him otherwise.
So totally immune to Heaven's Door in the same way that Josuke is.
Yeah. So yeah, they're setting up to play CeeLo. They've got rules that they're posting up.
Yeah, like with a thumbtack on the post out on the back porch.
And so Josuke is holding 3 dice. Rohan's just like, no way, we're playing with my dice.
Let me go get him from the kitchen. And Josuke starts freaking out. And then he starts freaking out in a positive way because he somehow snuck more elf dice inside.
Yeah, he broke into Rohan's house earlier and snuck dice in.
Okay, I want to revisit a point that I made in the very first episode of Bizarre Podcast Dogs Must Die. Because I was wrong, and I must now correct myself.
Okay.
What I said was there are moments very, very early days in like even pre-Vampire Dio days where they lay out a philosophy of fights where it is all like predicting moves, the chess match metaphor, right? Being able to snatch victory by knowing what your opponent will do before they even know. And I said, oh, JoJo is JoJo from the very beginning. And I was right for the wrong reasons. Because the early fight that actually matches what JoJo would become is the boxing match in their youth.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the thumb to the eye. It's staking out every teeny tiny possible advantage, every little marginal bit that adds up to victory in the end. That's what a JoJo fight is. That's where it comes from.
Yeah. Like, I love this is the fight of this episode.
Yeah.
Just fucking just trying to scam Rohan out of money. So yeah, Rohan has grabbed the dice that he does not know is an alien. And they roll one die to see who goes first. And it's a 4, so Josuke rolls a 6, so he's going first.
And essentially the way this dice game goes, in general and in their specific rules posted up on the post here, what you roll determines how many times your bet you either receive or pay to the other person.
Yeah.
Normal rolls, you know, get back or lose what you have, but super unlikely rolls, you can either pay more or win multiples of. Like, say, 666 pays out 5 times what you put in the pot, which is what Josuke rolls immediately.
Yeah, and he freaks out like this. Like, he's just thinking to himself, this alien has got to be fucking more subtle than this. It's super obvious I'm cheating. Also, like, right before Josuke rolls, like, Rohan flicks one of the die at Josuke, and you can just barely hear the alien just go like, ow!
And Josuke, of course, has to play it off like, I am ready to play, all right.
Yeah. Josuke's rolled the 666, also known as an omen in the game.
And then Rohan rolls 1, 2, 3, the unluckiest possible thing. So he's paying out multiples of his stake. And like, you know what? Maybe the elf wouldn't be pushing it so hard if he weren't so uncomfortable being 6 tiny dice. It seems like that sucks.
Yeah, this is the cliffhanger of this episode.
Yeah.
Rohan is immediately suspicious of Josuke.
The cliffhanger is that Josuke is too good at dice.
Yeah.
So that brings us to episode 28, Highway Star, part 1. And Rohan takes out a magnifying glass to inspect a die and insists it seems like it's staring at me.
Yeah. When he is staring at the die, like on one of the faces opposite from him that he can't see, you can see just tiny little eyeballs poking out of the holes, the little black dots.
So eventually he just says, and gives up, sets the magnifying glass aside, and is like, okay, Josuke, your turn. But he's suspicious. His suspicions are raised, especially when he rolls 3 6s again.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have laid this plan out in a bit more detail, you know, playing some specifics. He's not psychic like Okuyasu, okay?
Yeah. Rohan is surprisingly calm looking. He takes a sip of like his beer and he's just like, well, it's extremely unlikely, but hey, sometimes you just roll 3 6s 2 times in a row back to back. It's fine.
Josuke is also having nervous tense giggles. They're both having the least mirthful laughter I have ever heard.
It's like a split screen of both of them laughing, and it just keeps zooming in closer and closer on their faces until Rohan grabs a pen and stabs his own pinky off.
He's about to explain why he does this, but let me just tell you, the listener, I don't know why he does this.
I don't know why he does it either. But yeah, we go into the OP, and when we come back, yeah, he's like nearly severed his pinky off. And Josuke's like, what the fuck was that?
So he wants to beat JoJo's ass at gambling so bad that he's essentially betting body parts to keep Josuke from just taking his chips and running out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I understand the play here, but Rohan feels real confident about it, so I'm going to let it slide.
Yeah. It's different in the English dub, but there's a Japanese subtitle here when Rohan is explaining. There's a part where he just says, I get so mad when I think of you being secretly happy behind my back.
He's a shitty guy. He's a bad man.
He sucks. And Josuke is just like, the fuck? Just give me your hand. I'll heal it right now. This is weird. And Rohan is just like, no. My pinky will stay severed for now.
So Rohan, somehow, in the flash of a moment, he did not... How could he have possibly known he was going to be playing dice with the Pompadour boy today? He couldn't have known. But he has this elaborate setup because Tamami rolls up. Mr. Lockman, not been seen since he got his ass laid out by Surface, presumed dead. He's been missing so long.
Yeah. That's why he wasn't at the big stand meeting with Raimi forever ago, because he was still in the hospital. He got beaten up that badly.
And he is there to offer his professional services, I guess. So Rohan's goal here is not even to win his money back. He doesn't care. He's willing to just throw out either 2 or 200 million yen. This is a sub-dub difference, literally 2 orders of magnitude, how big this envelope is. To Josuke, just to keep him on the hook, he needs to figure out how he's being cheated. Mm-hmm. And so Tamami's instructions are to use the lock to just clamp down Josuke's heart if he doesn't cheat. If he feels guilty about not being guilty in order to escape his guilt.
Yes, yeah. That I had memory of this episode where it's just like, okay, he'll get caught cheating if the lock clamps down on him. He's cheating.
No, it's the opposite.
No,
the lock will clamp down on him if he cheats by hiding his cheating that he's previously done.
Yes, yeah. Oh, man.
He's got to live next door or something. Like, this is Johnny on the spot service.
Also, like, there's a whole deal between him and Rohan about, like, payment. Mm-hmm. Like, he either gets 20% of the winnings or some magnitude of yen, whichever one is the largest payment in the end. Mm-hmm. Like, when he's talking about this, it sounds like Rohan had hired Tamami earlier for an other purpose. And this is just the general agreed upon payment plan for whatever's going on.
Well, yeah, because apparently loan sharking didn't work out for him. Informing our heroes about stand business really didn't work out for him. So now he's in the repo business.
Yeah.
So now it's Rohan's turn, and he rolls a 3, a 3, and a 4, the first non-suspicious score all night.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the elf has gotten dizzy from the way that Rohan shakes up the dice in his hands before tossing, and is now puking out of the pips.
Yeah, there's just Josuke looks at the dice in his hand, and there's just little bits of puke coming out of like the number 3. And Rohan is, still extremely suspicious, and he's just like, don't close your hand with the dice in there. I want to be able to see the dice at all times. Mm-hmm, and as this is happening, there's another fire or something happening nearby. Tamami can hear fire truck sirens in the distance. And so now there are hives breaking out on the dice.
Apparently, in the adaptation, there were a whole lot more of Rohan's little tests that Josuke had to cover for or distract from. Like, they could have made just a full episode out of this, while we will eventually get to other stuff, as the episode's title would suggest.
Yeah.
But one I wanted to share was removed the scene with Rohan about to bite the die to test its hardness. Until Josuke stops him by saying he forgot to wash his hands after taking a dump earlier.
Great.
Oh, what could have been?
What could have been?
So yes, there's fire trucks. So Josuke can't leave. He can't expose this. He's just got to hope and pray his elf friend can hold it together. So he rolls 666 because obviously his collaborator wants to get out of here as quick as possible, drain that jackpot. No time for subtlety, because yes, the die is breaking out in hives. Luckily, not on the faces facing Rohan.
Yeah. This Rohan is suspicious that another 666 has been rolled. His hand is slowly descending to grab the die, and you see on the side where all the hives are and stuff, just a lot of puke, just puking out of every hole in this dice, all over the place.
Did you ever think you would be saying, quote, puking out of every hole?
No. And that's why I like JoJo. And so as Rohan's hand is slowly descending to pick up all these dice, Tamami's like, the sirens are getting closer! And you just see fire trucks pull up right behind them, and he's like, oh, I know where the fire is! It's Rohan's house! And it's just He just points, and the house is just fucking ablaze.
Not just the house, but the porch they are sitting on.
Yeah.
There are huge roaring flames 2 feet to his left.
Yeah.
No, how focused are you that you don't notice?
Yeah. The house caught on fire because of the Rohan's magnifying glass he was using earlier. Had focused some sunlight or something and just ignited the whole damn house.
Damn, that's a good magnifying glass.
Yeah. And as like Rohan looks at his house, away from the dice for a second, the dice shoot up into the air and just turn into a big wad of like alien taffy that Josuke grabs in his arms, and then he just starts booking it.
He runs with it like he's stealing a Tangela from Team Rocket and just like boops the pinky fixed as he's on his way.
Yeah, and
without
Rohan
permission.
Rohan gets pissed off, saying, like, you can't heal my injuries without permission. Like, he just wanted his finger to keep hanging there. Josuke and the alien book it. Rohan loses half of his house at an estimated loss of 700 million yen.
Or 7 million in the dub. I don't understand. Like,
I don't know.
That one doesn't even have lip flaps to match. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But yes, the great Rohan Kishibe would rather lose everything than be tricked.
Yeah. Today, at least, 700 million yen would be a little over $6 million. Only 7 million would be $61,000. So I don't know. Rohan's got a big house.
He's got a big. I mean, it depends on how. It depends on how valuable some of the things inside the house were, which we will talk about soon.
Yes, this detail I completely forgot about is so fucking funny.
So across town, in another very significant house entirely, little Hayato comes home, welcomed by the sounds of Moriocho radio, giving a news report about a motorcycle crash at a tunnel. I'm assuming all these news updates will be important sometime, and I'm again proven right. We will learn about that later. He comes home to see his mother Shinobu mixing up a batter, which again is like, it's fucking weird.
Mom never cooks.
Mom's cooking, mom's wearing lipstick, mom's happy. This shit is fucked up. How dare my mom be happy?
Hayato goes upstairs to his bedroom, and his eyes are like always half lidded, like he just looks completely soulless at all times. And he sits down at his desk and turns his TV on and activates his security network that he has set up in his parents' house. And he's got cameras installed in like every room in the house. And he's playing back video footage of last night when his mom was getting real horny. And he just thinks to himself, it's been a while since mom got naked in front of dad. This is weird.
This is so fucking gross. I don't like it. Do you keep a schedule? Are you counting? You freak? But actor notes. Hayato shares an English voice with Bianca Carlisle from Gundam Thunderbolt.
Oh, shit. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, her voice sounded familiar to me.
And his Japanese voice is the current Sailor Mars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yes, he's watching this footage. He scrubs back even farther to hear, quote-unquote, Dad lamenting his fate at the hands of 2 JoJos.
Yeah. I don't know if we've said the name of the guy that Kira has assumed the identity of. It's Kosaku Kawajiri is the name. Yeah, he overhears this little bit from his quote-unquote dad. He's not like super suspicious of it yet, but he's like, you hear Hayato's thoughts and he's just wondering, am I really the child of two parents who love each other or something like that?
Seems weird. Couldn't be me.
Yeah. But we go back to the next day where Josuke is meeting up with the alien again, or rather just kind of stumbles across him walking around town. And the alien's mom calls for him, who calls him by the name Mikitaka. And the alien, Mikitaka, claims that I am blending in with human society perfectly. I have brainwashed this woman to think I am her son. It's going great.
Who could say? Who knows? Nobody knows.
Who knows? And like his mom's just like, oh, are you telling people you're an alien again? You're so wacky. This caused problems at his last school. That's why we had to move.
Very good. Very good.
And then the camera pans up and we see Papa Kira going like, what the fuck? Is that guy really an alien?
He doesn't know what to believe.
Yeah.
But he is content knowing that he has yet another powerful warrior about to bring to bear upon these boys and protect his son. The arrival of Highway Star is nigh. Whoa.
Which in the English dub has been changed to Highway Go-Go. Highway
Star is a song by Deep Purple. So it turns out they have at least 2 songs. Who knew? No.
Oh.
So Josuke is getting on the bus to go wherever he's going today. And wouldn't you know it, on that bus is Rohan, and they have tension.
And Josuke's just like, oh, so sorry about that fire. Was that like a big loss for you? And Rohan says, in the subs at least, the big fire was just like the movie Pretty Woman.
Which makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
There's no fire in Pretty Woman.
In the English dub, it makes much more sense because he clarifies about 250 million yen worth of furniture was burned. And a lot of those furniture pieces I had were used in the movie Pretty Woman.
Which also doesn't make that much sense to me. Who is looking at the furniture in Pretty Woman?
I don't know.
The jewelry, famously. The costumes, sure. But the furniture? Who's looking at Richard Gere sitting on a chair and thinking, I need that chair?
Rohan, apparently. Apparently he's just that big of a fan of Pretty Woman, he had to have the furniture used in the sets. I love it. What the fuck? What a weird fucking detail to put in. Buy furniture from the movie Pretty Woman.
And now it's all lost. That's why they never made Pretty Woman 2. They couldn't get the furniture back.
the linchpin of the entire story of Pretty Woman 2 was going to be the furniture. Now it's gone, so.
You can't just recreate the furniture.
No. Those were one-of-a-kind pieces.
So they are riding this bus together along with a number of anonymous bus riders. This bus route takes them through a tunnel, and Rohan is looking out the window of the tunnel, and he sees lights pass by, like, street lights in the darkness. But these aren't street lights. They're just rectangles of something. And as they go by again and again, he sees that they're a door and a window into a house inside the tunnel wall.
Yeah, the door is ajar and he can see inside. Yeah, in this house, inside this tunnel, is a big table with a giant, candelabra on it, and what appears to be an unconscious or dead woman on the table.
Yes, wearing a dress, patterned stockings with her legs, she's clearly being victimized in one way or another. And in a minute, we see a faceless, or not faceless, but the back of a man cutting her hand off.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear in what way she's being victimized.
Yeah. The person cutting her hand off from behind looks a lot like Kira. Mm-hmm. Rohan is freaking out. When he sees the hand get cut off in a flash, there is blood splatter that hits the window of the bus.
Mm-hmm. However, nobody else can see it. And it's not just a stand user thing. Josuke can't even see it.
Mm-hmm. And so Rohan is spooked, thinking, was that, a new stand user doing that shit? Did the person I just see in that room, was that the new identity of Kira? And we cut to another interstitial. Instead of a stand user, it's another one of the landmarks in Morio, and this time it is the Twin Forests Tunnel.
Yes, the street tunnel that the bus is driving through is this week's landmark. Congratulations, yay! So back in the action, it's later in the day, and Rohan has returned to the tunnel. He took his motorcycle to go check it out solo, after failing to convince Josuke that it wasn't an elaborate vengeance trap.
Yeah.
He asked him to come along, and he's like, no. I don't trust you.
I'm going into a dark tunnel with you alone? This is absolutely a prank or a trap. No. I just set your house on fire. No. And so Rohan has come back to this tunnel on a sweet-ass motorcycle. He's got a motorcycle.
And he's cruising on through, looking for this door, looking for this window, and he does not find them. And he's like, what the fuck? He gets off. He's like, it was around here somewhere, but now it's not here. What? How strange. And as he leans against the wall of the tunnel, he falls straight through because I guess he did find the door, just didn't look like one.
Yeah. And so, yeah, he has fallen into this room that just looks like a room of a house. Kind of
very cozy room.
Yeah, very warm in here. Like, kind of like, it's all older wooden furniture.
Including this large freestanding cabinet.
Yeah.
That is open, just a slight crack. The door is open, just a bit ajar. And there's some strange noises coming out of it. And Rohan's like, ah, shit, this fucking sucks. I gotta go.
Yeah, he immediately sprints out of there. He's just like, this room's a trap, fuck this. And as he's propping his motorcycle up, he can hear like rapid like stomping noises, but he's seeing like there's nothing there.
So he's speeding away thinking like, I gotta talk to Mr. Joestar, which I thought was interesting that Joseph would be the person that he wants to bring this to. I mean, you figure Jotaro is the expert, Koichi is the closest thing he has to a friend.
Yeah.
But, okay, yeah, Joseph, why not?
All right. And so he's speeding away. He's going pretty fast, like 60 kilometers an hour. And he starts hearing this rapid thumping noise catching up to him from behind. And he sees what is chasing him is...
Feet. It's feet.
like not like fully like 3D feet either. They're just kind of like flat slices of like footprints. And they're just going. They're just going real fast. Just chasing after him.
The feet are jogging behind him. So he goes as fast as he can, and he realizes that, like, okay, these feet max out around 60 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
That's something like 45 miles an hour. It's
yeah. Some fast feet.
Those are fast feet. So, okay, as long as, you know, I keep riding on my bike, I'll eventually get to a range limit, right? He doesn't. It never happens.
Yeah, the feet just keep going. There's a like a semi truck coming the other way that he almost crashes into. So he swerves out of the way. And unfortunately, swerving out of the way slows him down just enough for a second that the feet are able to catch up to him. And like 2 or 3 of them leap at Rohan and like embed themselves halfway into his back.
Yes, he is climbed by the feet and then penetrated by the toes. Puking from every hole.
Yeah.
And they're pulsing away his strength. The vitality is draining from him in this really cool effect. This great like visual language for showing that his bones and his major blood vessels are like drawn on a layer that Rohan's whole like flesh and everything is drawn above. And then that layer just in these pulses goes transparent with like thrum, thrum, thrum. So you see the bones poking out. It looks so cool.
It's really cool looking. I love it.
Especially around the mouth, and you get like the teeth coming through.
Yes.
Oh, it's good.
The sound design for this stand is really cool too. It's all really bassy thrums and stuff. It just sounds dope. But yeah, as Rohan's going like, oh shit, it's like sucking my life energy away. We cut to outside the tunnel. Well, hey, Josuke's here. He decided, all right, maybe there's something to this tunnel.
Yeah, he decided to make things right. Like, okay, even if it is a trap, I kind of owe him. And then he is greeted by a riderless motorcycle shooting out of the tunnel like a rocket.
Yeah, and it just like crashes and breaks into pieces. And he's like, oh, okay, yep, there's a stand here. Rohan's in trouble. Another really cool like visual element here is the stand, which is just a whole bunch of little like soles of feet. They all like stack up onto each other and eventually form the full body of the stand.
These feet assemble themselves as if they are slices of man.
Yeah.
And they become this blue muscle hunk with like a crisscross, like fucking court jester in blue sort of pattern. Yeah. And he has a pharaoh-style beard, I guess, but it looks more like a zipper pull than anything. And he announces, "You shall become my nourishment."
Yeah. Rohan pulls out Heaven's Door, opens up some pages on the palm of Highway Star here, gets the name of the stand.
Learns everything we know about this stand immediately. Like, there are no mysteries left for this guy other than how to fight him.
Yeah. If someone goes into that room the stand conjures, they will be marked as a target and will be chased, like, endlessly by these feet until they are drained of their... You're going to hear this word a lot in the English dub. They're going to get sucked dry of their nutrients. My nutrients!
Oh no, my riboflavin. I needed that.
Damn it. I just took a vitamin D today.
My daily recommended amount of zinc is flying away.
No, all my Flintstones.
Not my monounsaturated lipids.
And so even though Rohan has gotten this information, he is already so weak from having his energy drained that he can't fight back in any real way. Mm-hmm. He can't even reach the pages to write down an order on the stand.
I mean, it even says inside the handbook, if it touches you, then it has no weaknesses.
Yes, yeah.
Sure, fine, whatever.
Yep.
So... I don't like this stand very much. Honestly, I'm just going to come out right now and say I think it's got too many things.
I agree. I remember, like, when I think of Highway Star, I just remember, it's like feet that just chase you endlessly, and they drain your energy if they touch you. And I thought, okay, yep, that's a stand power. And then I remembered, like, wait, there's like a room in a tunnel that's also the stand ability and makes a room?
Okay, one thing I'm going to spoil because we don't learn it until later, but there's basically three things going on with this stand. It has the curiosity trap room. Mm-hmm. It's got the constant hunter thing going on, and it eats your nutrients in order to feed and restore the user. Those are the three things, and they should have picked two.
I agree.
Any two.
I wish this was just it chases you and it sucks out your life energy to heal the user. I think those two work pretty good. And I like the idea of like a stand that's a room and it's a trap. And that should have just been an entire stand on its own. It's just a trap room.
Yeah.
Like the JoJo escape room that existed. And the escape room was the stand. Like, that's it. That's a good enough premise on its own.
I do love the way it is assembled out of slices, like getting meat at the deli counter in reverse. That I like. That's very good.
Yeah. As Rohan is getting his energy drained, Josuke starts to enter the tunnel and goes like, yo, Rohan, are you here? And that makes the stand go like, oh shit, it's Josuke. And he pulls Rohan deeper into the tunnel, back into the room it's created.
And that's where Josuke finds him. Josuke sees for the first time the magic bait room. And inside that room is Rohan, clearly having a bad time. Like he's limp. He's not himself. But Josuke cannot see Highway Star hiding, crouched behind him. Yeah.
Highway Star is trying to like make a deal with Rohan. Like, hey, I bet you don't even like this guy that much. Like, if you just lure him in here, maybe I won't suck out all of your energy and I'll let you live.
It's not as if you two actually care about each other, right?
Right? So Rohan kind of acts like, ooh, he likes this deal for a second before having a really good shot where Rohan's face is in shadow, and like as the camera pulls closer, it just turns into like a 1-to-1 recreation of the panel where he says, fuck you, no.
It's so good.
It's black and white and everything. It looks so great.
And he has this just like another really character-defining moment for Rohan. You should know that one of Rohan Kashibe's favorite pastimes is saying no to people who think they're tough shit. Yeah, that sounds about right.
And so Rohan tells Josuke, like, hey, fucking leave. Don't go in here. It's a damn trap. And Josuke goes like, oh, well, since you said that, I'm going to walk inside because you suck.
I'm not one to do as I'm told. Now let me at this dickwad. Another very character-defining moment for JoJo.
Yeah.
I'm anti-authority, but only when it means I get to help people. So fuck you.
And so Josuke takes like 2 steps into the room, And Rohan's just like, God damn it, you always do the opposite of what I say. This sucks. Fuck you. Just as Highway Star is about to like sink his fucking feet into Josuke, Rohan uses Heaven's Door on Josuke and writes in, I will travel out of this room at like 70 kilometers an hour. And so he just rockets out of the tunnel.
Yeah. He's just moved by just a magical invisible force. It's not that he is now compelled to run that fast or anything like that. He just goes. He just goes.
Yeah, he just gets force pushed out.
So out of the tunnel, he fixes the bike, gets on it, and just blasts out, burning like hell in order to find the stand user and punch this guy to save Rohan's life.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the ending. We get the ending credits for the first time in this set.
Yeah, and I just like that the cliffhanger is Josuke like popping a wheelie in this motorcycle as there's just like 36 feet in the sky above him. It's just really funny.
Oh boy, episode 29, Highway Star Part 2. He is flooring it to outpace a cloud of footprints. This whole episode is basically JoJo doing sweet bike stunts.
Oh, yeah. I like this episode a lot just for that. But yeah, Josuke's pretty happy. It's like, hey, this isn't so bad. Like, this bike goes fucking fast. Like, I can just outrun these footsteps for forever, basically, until I run out of gas. And, like, I can outpace it enough that I can probably take some time to do research on the stand user. He just needs to find a phone.
He's got to find out what's special about the tunnel, what's special about the stand user, and he knows who's going to help him. Gotta get Koichi on this.
Oh yeah, gotta get the good boy researcher.
He's the only person we've seen doing research. He probably put together that dossier that Jotaro just got.
Yeah, probably.
He's got a part-time job with the Speedwagon Foundation. Nobody's asked him. He
just showed up one day and just pretended like he worked there. It's that newfound confidence he's got now that he's got a girlfriend. That's
you
3
see
times
that
his
haircut?
size.
That's a boy with a part-time job.
Josuke's in town now. Outpaced the footsteps long enough. He's just like, I could just stop at a payphone and just like call up Koichi. Here we go.
He's done his basic algebra enough to know that at the pace he's going for the time he's been keeping it, he has 2 minutes bought before the chasing feet catch up to him.
Except the feet just suddenly materialize like 10 feet away from him.
Is this the first time we've had a stand user like strategically dismiss and then summon?
I think so.
In order to extend their range and like move faster than their speed.
Yeah, I've always kind of wondered when someone would do that, and this is the fight where it happens. But the feet don't immediately know where Josuke is. They're just in the general vicinity of him, and so the feet are sniffing. Their little toes are wiggling, and you can hear little sniff noises like they have noses.
see their feet that smell. I get it.
And so there's a bit where the feet do start to pick up on Josuke's scent, and like one of the feet, its little big toe points up like it's a little like hunting dog, like pointing to where the ducks are or whatever. It's really funny. And so Josuke goes, well, fuck, can't call Koichi now. And so he hops back on the bike. And aw shit, there's a red light coming up. And also, there's a woman with a baby in a carriage crossing the road. And I'm going to slam directly into them.
So JoJo is faced with the weirdest trolley problem. And he comes up with the strangest solution.
I love it. Because he doesn't want to slow down.
No, then he's dead.
He wants to keep his momentum going while also not killing this woman and her baby. So he punches his own motorcycle
1,000 times so it explodes into chunks.
And all these chunks get catapulted around and above the woman and her baby. All Josuke is holding on to now as he flies through the air are the handlebars. There's a bit where the baby is looking up at the sky and he sees in slow motion Josuke just flying over him, and Josuke makes eye contact with the baby. Like, yeah, I'm pretty cool, huh? And yeah, after all the parts clear the woman and her baby, he uses Crazy Diamond to reassemble the bike midair, and it's still going fast.
Just in time to keep him from spilling his brain all over the pavement.
Yeah.
And then just a quick cut back to a very frightened young mother and a very happy baby. Baby loves this shit.
The baby loves motorcycle tricks, especially paranormal motorcycle tricks.
And that's when the OP comes in, and now Josuke is still bombing around town, trying to maintain his speed downtown, which is a challenge in itself. But also, there's a businessman. There is a businessman on the sidewalk getting some vitally important instructions from his boss, who is obviously, at least in the dub, voiced by Joseph Joestar.
Yes, absolutely. There was some anime I was watching a couple weeks ago that was from like the early 90s. Oh, it's the Street Fighter 2 movie. And there's a part where E Honda, the big sumo wrestler from Street Fighter, gets introduced, and I was like, this guy sounds so familiar. Is he from some other really like older anime? And no, it is the English dub voice of Joseph Joestar. He has been doing shit since the early 90s. And he voiced E Honda, and I was so happy when I looked it up, and it's like, that's fucking him. He sounds exactly the same. It's great. 30 years later.
I just want to pretend that this guy is Joseph, and he's just this is how he treats his employees. Whenever he's yelling at people that work for him about these billion-yen deals, he sounds like he's 20, 30 years younger.
I mean, he's a real estate mogul. Maybe he's expanded out into Japan now that he's hanging out here. He's immediately hired up a new workforce. There's a new plot of land near Rohan's that's going to be available soon, I hear. If we could just get the other half of the building burned down. If only Avdol were still here.
Do you think they did a lot of insurance scams when they were younger?
I can imagine a younger Joseph Joestar absolutely doing insurance fraud, but I don't know about Avdol. He seemed like a good boy his whole life. Like how some babies are born evil, Avdol was born the nicest baby.
Just like an evil Avdol AU, where instead of trapping Iggy, he becomes Iggy's enforcer.
Yeah.
Running the dog gangs of New York.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So anyhow, this businessman is not going to get this important call to seal a billion-yen deal because Josuke has stolen his phone.
Yeah, he speeds by and just yanks it out of his hand, and you get a little scene of the guy still talking as if his phone was there, and then he opens his eyes and goes like, "Oh, what the fuck? No, my billion-yen deal," or whatever. Ruined. But as Josuke snatched the phone, like, the phone got all fucked up. And I keep thinking, just fix the phone.
Yeah. Just fix... It's your whole thing. It's very dumb.
He's like, "Oh no, it's broken." Like, I thought it would have made more sense if, like, he grabbed the phone, but he didn't have a good grip on it, and it fell out of his hand. And it's just like, well, shit, I need another phone now. I can't go back and get it.
But for very stupid reasons, we need to do this gag a second time so it really lands. But this time, it's a young man on a cell phone on the sidewalk talking to his girlfriend who's ready to leave because she's here for commitment, dang it. And you better do a big gesture now or we're over, mister. And he's like, okay, time to propose right now. Deep breath, here comes. Whoops, my phone got stolen.
Also, the clothes this man is wearing are fucking weird. Pink shoes, pink pants, long button-up shirt, too long, too big for him, that's like violet with darker purple circles on it, and then a like salmon vest on top of that with like white and yellow diamonds and a black stripe down the middle. It is fucking weird looking. Who would marry this man?
No one. He didn't get a chance to propose.
So yeah, Josuke swiped another phone, and he just hangs up on that woman, and we cut to... What's Koichi doing? He's trying to give his dog Police a walk.
Police cannot walk.
Police
He's giving Police a drag.
Yeah, Police is completely dead asleep. He's huge, and so Koichi is just like dragging this dog an inch at a time. It's very
big,
funny.
Lumpy boy.
It's very funny how lumpy and floppy this huge sleepy dog is. He's bigger than Koichi is. Like,
so the phone rings and Koichi has to rush inside to get it, abandoning his immobile dog out on the porch, and it's his good friend Josuke who's calling to say, "Hey, what do you know about this tunnel There's stands in it, and Rohan's gonna die. You like him, right? Do you care that he's good? Oh, you actually care? Okay.
Okay, you kind of sort of care about... All right, sure. Koichi is trying to do some research, and so he brings up a newspaper that has an article in it about that tunnel from like a day or so ago. Remember that? Like you pointed out, that radio story that was playing an episode or two ago about the crash that happened in the tunnel. Yeah, there was a biker who like suddenly crashed in there and is now hospitalized. Koichi and Josuke are thinking, oh, that must have been another victim of the stand. Josuke's trying to keep Koichi on the line, but he is driven so far, he's about to go into the ocean.
One quick thing we neglected to mention here, Koichi had a hunch that the hospitalized biker is indeed the stand user, not a previous victim, and a later bit of his research convinces Josuke of the same. Anyway, back to bike stunts.
He is in the shipping yards, he's about to drive straight into the water.
So Josuke shows off his racing skills, essentially. You know, you've seen motorcycle races, how their bikes go practically parallel with the ground. They turn so tight.
They're dragging their knee on the ground almost. They're leaning so hard to the side. Yeah, Josuke does that.
And he's fucking up his knee real bad.
Yeah.
But he is still surrounded by dead ends. He's not just by the ocean. He's down on, like, the port pier. So, like, he's surrounded on all sides.
Yeah. While the stand he's fighting might have a couple too many powers, I like everything Josuke does in the chase.
Yes.
Because it's just a big showcase of, like, what are more cool things he can do by breaking and fixing things.
So he's driving parallel to a concrete wall, and Crazy Diamond just punches the shit out of it, leaving a bunch of rubble behind him. And then, in an instant, all that rubble gets formed together to form a new wall that is just a great big barrier that Josuke can crouch down and hide behind with his bike.
Yeah, and all the feet slam up against this big concrete wall, and they're all confused and just, like, sniffing. They just that wall itself is enough to block Josuke's scent long enough that he can try and figure something out.
Yeah, we're at a bit of an impasse, a bit of a pause in you know the high octane action, while Josuke is trying to think his way out of this, and Koichi is trying to violate medical privacy ethics.
Yep. Meanwhile, Papa Kira is just flying through the sky and just loving it.
It's all he has.
It's all he's got.
So, you know, some people, when they retire, they get into oil painting or they travel. He makes stand users and watches them try to kill children.
And he loves it.
He loves it. So, yeah, he is giving more of his stand philosophy about what's going on here. Talking about the way that Stan's power comes from inner strength. And there is no inner strength stronger than the primal hunger to heal oneself. And that is why Highway Star is the strongest of all stands. You will never escape it. You will never defeat it.
Yeah. He also laments that he doesn't know where Josuke is right now, and he doesn't have the time to watch Josuke die, but he bet it owns.
What is on your schedule? You made 6 guys.
How many more guys do you need?
2 of them are defeated. One had a very important day in his childhood, and the other turned out to just be pretty chill all along.
Yeah.
That's still 3 more guys we haven't met yet. So now all the feet assemble to become the Highway Star body again. And in this form, it has the devious ability to walk around a barrier.
Yeah, and so he leaps over this thin concrete wall that Josuke made and goes in for like a punch, but Josuke's already gone. Where's he gone? There is a big like drainage ditch below that was, you know, draining right into the water, and Josuke used Crazy Diamond to grab the motorcycle and hop down there and start driving down this drainage ditch back into town. Yeah.
He's essentially one level down using service infrastructure, like these drainage culverts to get back on land, sweet land. Although now he's trapped in the culverts themselves, as well as not knowing how they go. It's a maze down here.
Yeah, they're splitting off in a bunch of different directions, and who knows which one isn't a dead end or, takes them in the correct direction, doesn't just take them back to the water.
And then, oh boy, that engine starts knocking. After testing a lot of different possibilities, he figures out it's because he's out of gas.
Yeah, he's just like, oh no, I can't fix the bike. Dude, and he doesn't check the fuel gauge on the motorcycle. Right, there isn't one.
Generally, bikes don't have fuel gauges. This is a little bit of Araki's explanation corner.
There you go. I forgot. Josuke has to check the fuel by just punching a big hole in the gas tank and looking inside. Mm-hmm.
That's how bikers do it, yeah.
Yeah. All bikers are incredibly strong. So yeah, he is out of fuel, and once he realized that he's just out of fuel, he's no longer worried. No big deal. I'm not owned one bit.
So he looks directly at the camera, says, quote, I can get out of this situation easy peasy, and then collides headlong at top speed into a wall.
Yeah.
It's the most JoJo's Bizarre Adventure moment this is where JoJo's begins. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah. I'm not owned drives headfirst into a wall at 100 miles an hour. Yeah. So when he is saying that, you also see one level up above these drainage ditches. There is a car parked there by one of these like buildings or whatever. And so when he drives headfirst into this wall, it catapults him up out of the drainage ditch, and he's now flying towards this car, and he punches the passenger side of the car wide open so he can land in the car. And as all these feet are chasing him, he then leans on the driver's side door and falls out of the car, slams the door shut, and now all of these feet are flying to this car, and he repairs the broken side of the car so it's fully enclosed with the feet trapped inside the car.
Hopefully locked. I don't know, but
yeah.
But this buys him enough time to then pull out that broken bit of gas tank he had and then re-repair the whole bike around him where he stands.
Yeah.
Which is how he gets the bike back up on street level. And then one last punch into the car's gas tank to puncture it and siphon hoselessly into his bike gas. And now he's right as rain, ready to go.
Yeah, that's a fun sequence of events with Crazy Diamond. I really like him just pulling the motorcycle back up to his level just because he was holding on to one piece of it. That's fun.
That brings us to our mid-card of Highway Star. Nice to meet you. And back with Koichi, he is arguing with the desk nurse who has no time for him.
Yeah.
This little man who wants to visit somebody after visiting hours. She suggests he comes back to see the optometrist because he clearly can't read that sign. Ooh, burn.
Damn. This lady's real pissed off. She's having a bad day at work, I think. So yeah, Koichi is pleading, I really need information about this one person, this person who crashed in this one tunnel. And the nurse just like leans in and says, like, little shrimps like you annoy me so much. Koichi is like on his tippy toes to like look over the reception desk here, and she's like, are your feet even touching the ground right now? Get lost. So Koichi turns around, is about to walk away, and he summons Echo's Act 3 to apply gravity on some very expensive bottles of like medicine or testing solutions that are on top of a shelf.
Yeah, but Act 3 doesn't say, yes, master, I will apply gravity to some very expensive medicine. No, he says, okay, master, let's kill the hoe.
Yeah, yes.
Is Act 3 really into VTubers?
Maybe. And after he says, let's kill Daho, I believe he says, beach.
So, I mean, I had to look this up, and actually, no, that's exactly what it is in the original voice, too, except it's, the Japanese voice actor saying that in English, which is like, Act 3's whole thing is being very vulgar in English in Japanese.
Yeah.
And so I guess that VTuber bit is a JoJo reference that I didn't know all this time.
Yeah, it probably is. Oh, I should mention this on the podcast. I ordered a pizza yesterday, and the pizza guy saw that I had JoJo paws on my TV, and he said, "Nice taste in anime, sir."
Was it this scene? Was it Kill the Ho?
No, it was just like a close-up on Josuke, I think, but while he was playing CeeLo with Rohan. Yeah, but it's... thanks, pizza guy. Thank you.
So this scene it's fun. If there are people who love this scene, I get you, but it points out part of what I don't like about the Act 3 power shift. Is that Act 1 and Act 2 led to Koichi coming up with very clever solutions, and Act 3's ability leads to Koichi becoming an extortionist.
Yeah, these big bottles or whatever are about to fall off the shelf, and this nurse is holding them up, and they are unnaturally heavy, so she can't get them back on the shelf. And he is just kind of, extorting her. He's like leaning up against the wall, and she's like, "Oh, geez, it'd be a shame if those fell down. I bet you get reprimanded for that after you said they were so expensive." And, basically extorting her into allowing him to visit this guy in the hospital.
So as soon as she gives the name and room number, Yuya Funagami, room 525, that is when JoJo crashes through the window on his bike and into the elevator, and Crazy Diamond pulls the door tight.
Yeah, he just crashes at full speed into this fucking elevator. It's great.
It's just enough time for Koichi to repeat the name and room number as he goes by.
Yeah. As he is trying to shut these doors with Crazy Diamond, a couple feet wedge themselves in between the doors and they're sniffing, they're trying to get in, and thankfully Koichi spots the feet, and he can only use his 3 freeze on a single target, so he puts it on the highest up foot, so when it gets dragged down, it squishes all the other feet beneath it.
However, there is, of course, a swarm issue, so while the elevator is free to move, nearly every other slice of Highway Star is free to follow it.
Yeah, and it's just like slithering up through like air vents. So Josuke's up on the 5th floor now, and he's getting really close to where Yuya is, but there's more feet coming out, and 2 of them embed themselves in Josuke's back, and he is already now like limping towards this hospital room.
And this dude is, I was not expecting him to be awake.
Yeah.
Like the way I was expecting this plot to go is that the stand user is comatose, and that he needs to feed on all these victims in order to regain his consciousness and his health. And that's why he's so like desperate and determined, and like Josuke would save himself and Rohan by fixing him up. And then this dude wakes up and he's like, "Oh man, I gotta change my ways for the better. Thank you, good sir." Like sort of a Josuke's version of Janken Boy, right?
Right.
That's not what's happening. This dude is a wide awake shithead who loves eating people.
Yeah. And he's got a trio of like fangirls who adore him.
In uniform? Why are they all dressed in identical dresses?
They're with
wooden swords.
Yeah, they've got like training katanas with them. And when Josuke bursts in, this dude's like impressed that Josuke is able to find him, but he's super cocky and confident because he's already draining all the life out of Josuke. Like Josuke just falls over flat on the ground. His fangirls are like poking him with their swords and stomping on him a little bit.
One last voice actor note for this week. First, for the English voice, we are going to be hearing a lot of this guy in the future. He returns to be the Part 5 JoJo.
Oh, shit. Well, I haven't heard much of the English dub of Part 5 yet, so I wouldn't be able to recognize the voice too well, but that's fun.
And his Japanese voice is the official dub for Fred in all Scooby-Doo projects.
Huh. All right. That's fun. Yeah, Josuke is like nearly defeated, just on the floor. He can't even like move really.
So the girls aren't even nobody's paying attention to him. They're all like clawing each other's eyes out so they can bring Yuya his next pee bottle.
Yes, this guy's like, "Man, I really gotta piss," and all the girls are very excited to help him piss. And Yuya's just like, "It doesn't matter whose turn it is, just God, how is this phrase in English? It doesn't matter who does it, ladies. Just bring me that piss bottle and give me a hand. And everyone's just so excited about this man's time to pee. And so one of the other girls goes to like feed him a peach. And this dude's like, no, I can tell that peach is rotten. And he's just like, well, lately, my sense of smell has been getting really good. Presumably because he's getting like so much energy from other people or something.
There's like a tiny disagreement here in this exchange where she's like, there's no way you could tell that from all the way over there. And he's like, yeah, I could. Anybody could. Wait, not everybody could. Wait a minute. Do I have super smelling powers? And he gets really contemplative at the idea he has the most niche superhuman ability.
Yeah. And so this girl cuts into the peach and it's just like, yep, that peach is rotten on the inside. And then he's just like, yep, I'm good at smelling stuff. Sniff, sniff. Hey, are one of you girls on your period? I can smell period blood.
And one of them blushes. Cool, great, needed that.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, what in the fuck? This scene is so weird. Like, it's really funny, but it's just so fucking weird. And then, so he's just like testing out his stand-given smelling abilities.
And he's like, what are you so fucking pissed off? I can smell like the adrenaline of hate wafting off you. And they're like, no, we love you. We love you so much. We are all happier than we've ever been in our entire lives.
We're elated to have you pee in a bottle for us. Please, pee in this. Why hold it? Pee. And so yeah, as he's just going like, wow, somebody smells really angry. Who could it be? That's when Josuke walks into the frame. He's back up because he basically ripped out or like grabbed one of the IV drips for Yuya and just started sucking on it.
So now he has the nutrients replenished that he was losing. I don't think that's how IV drips, but okay, that's fine. But yeah, the quote for Josuke's reemergence into the narrative, that full-bodied odor you're whiffing is courtesy of yours truly, you dick. Everything is so much. Everything is to excess in this episode.
Yeah. Yuya's like, well, who gives a shit? But like, Highway Star is hiding in like human form under my bed. Here he comes to grab you. And so Josuke just decks him.
And points out that, oh yeah, you can move at 60 kilometers an hour. Good for you. I've never really clocked it, but I bet from here I could move over 300 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, I punch really fucking fast, dude.
You cannot stop me. You cannot not get punched. What are you going to do? And so, as so many tough guy stand users do, he retreats into his little shell. You wouldn't hurt a guy with glasses. You wouldn't hurt a guy with like 8 compound fractures whose spine doesn't work, would you?
Yeah, like I can't even move. I can't even scratch my ass right now, I think is what he says.
You'd be such a coward. No real man would beat up somebody in a hospital bed.
Yeah, so Josuke's just like, that would leave a pretty bad taste in my mouth, actually. I would hate to hit a guy when, you know, he's so fucked up already. So it's a good thing you're healed.
He basically says it's 12:01 a.m. and you're not the birthday boy.
Yeah. So he fully heals all of Yuya's injuries, and Yuya just like starts testing it out by like wiggling all of his arms and sitting up and going like, "Oh my god, I'm healed! Whoa!"
And then he gets those injuries right back.
Yeah. The short beat where Yuya doesn't realize he's been healed so he can get his ass kicked more is really funny. And then the realization dawns on him, and that's the instant Josuke pummels him so much that he gets punched 30 feet out of a window and lands like 5 floors below in a water fountain and gets like just utterly fucked up.
There's this fantastic flailing animation as he falls into the mountain, into the fountain. Yes, he went all the way into the mountains. Fuck you.
Damn.
No, as he falls out the window into the fountain. Just like, I don't know, very reminiscent of Studio Trigger stuff. The very exaggerated expressive poses.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and that does look very like Trigger. Yuya has been utterly destroyed. He's been readmitted to the hospital again because he has even more injuries than he did before.
Well, he didn't have far to go. He was in the parking lot.
Yeah, he's not going to use Highway Star anymore because he's been so fucked up. And Josuke, after watching this guy get punched all the way down to the fountain, gives a sigh of relief. And I believe in the English dub, he says, I feel so invigorated. It feels like it's the early hours of New Year's Day, and I just put on a fresh pair of my favorite underwear.
Fun fact, both of us watched this on New Year's Day.
Yay, we did, yeah.
So meanwhile, back at the tunnel, Rohan wakes up with the golden glow of the healing touch, and his first words are, "Oh, it's you."
Yeah. Jotaro is also here in the background. Just kind of sitting there.
Rohan Kashibe refuses to learn the meaning of friendship.
Gonna tell you, he never learns what friendship is. That's his character arc. He just sucks. So yeah, Rohan is trying to make it clear that, like, I don't owe you shit. I owe you nothing. You burnt my house down. Then after that little exchange, the narrator goes, also, by the way, Koichi walked his dog.
It's such a bizarre non sequitur ending, and it's not even the non sequitur ending, because we get another Highway Star title card.
Yep.
And then Shinobu goes downstairs and into the basement and finds a strange cat she doesn't recognize, and that's the non sequitur ending.
Yeah. There's just like a British blue hair or whatever, just chilling out.
It's like the Can't Has Cheeseburger cat, the original meme cat.
Yeah, the original one. And yeah, that to be continued. There's a cat in the house.
So these episodes, pretty good. Like,
pretty good.
Like I said, I would appreciate it if Highway Star had less going on. You know, I feel like in the pick 2, I think you're right that it should have been just leave the bait house, leave the trap room to be a part of another stand or another stand on its own, because that's the part that really got shortchanged. Mm-hmm. Yuya is way more interesting than his stand, and he made a really big impression for only being around for like 8 minutes of the whole thing.
Yeah, if that even. But yeah, Yuya is really fun. Despite Highway Star having a bit too much going on, I think when the fight actually truly begins, and it's just, this is a stand that just chases you endlessly very fast, and it just turns into Speed but JoJo.
Yes.
That's when the fight gets pretty fun, especially because it's been a bit since we've seen Josuke do a whole lot of different stuff with Crazy Diamond in one fight, and this fight has so much of that.
Yeah, no, this is a fantastic Crazy Diamond showcase.
Yeah, it's great.
Honestly, this whole set is very Josuke focused in a fun way. Like, there are times when it feels like he is being overshadowed by, you know, the loudness of Okuyasu, or the sinister yet kind of on the side of the angels thing Rohan's got going on.
Yeah.
But it's good to have our nominal protagonist actually be front and center for a stretch. It's fun. He's a good boy.
Yeah. But yeah, these episodes are good. I was looking forward to Highway Go-Go, or Highway Star rather, just because I like that the stand is mostly just feet.
Oh yeah.
I like when Araki starts getting into the stranger stand designs, and like a whole bunch of feet that stack up into little slices that make up a guy. That's fun.
The vulgarity seems to have really taken a step up.
Yeah.
And I know at some point JoJo leaves Weekly Jump and goes to like a monthly magazine with like a slightly older demo. Is that around here, or is the stretch around here what causes that to happen? Like, you come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know when it actually switched from one publication to another.
You can't go right from, I want to touch your dick so bad I'll give you a pee bottle, to, hey, which one of you ladies is on the rag? Come on.
Yeah.
You can't do that in this book anymore, man.
So it was in Weekly Shonen Jump until 2004, which would have been... Yeah, so this was still in Weekly Shonen Jump.
I guess the standards are not what I thought they were for that book.
Yeah, it's currently, as of 2005, it's been published in Ultra Jump instead. 2004 would have been the beginning of part 7. All the fucked up shit that happens in part 5, that was still in Weekly Shonen Jump. Wow. Part 5 is really gory. Like, it's got way more body horror stuff in it. Like, that's a little surprising. Damn. The next episode, we'll be doing 2 episodes.
Yes.
We've got Cats Love Yoshikage Kira, and there's a gigantic 4-parter coming up that crams so many fights into it. So much shit is happening in this 4-parter that there's no way to do any of it without leaving on a cliffhanger unless we did all 4 parts at once.
So what we're going to do is just do the first part so we can keep 2, 3, and 4 together, as much of it together as possible.
Yeah, and that episode is called July 15th, Thursday, part 1. It's a busy day.
We will be back next week talking about those 2 episodes 30 and 31.
I cannot believe we're getting to the end bits of Diamond is Unbreakable already. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. We are getting pretty darn close to the first anniversary of uploading these, and so we'll talk more about that in a few weeks when it happens. But it's been a year of recording for us. I just looked at the date when we first recorded on the Fancy Lads arc, the pre-vampire times of part 1. Oh man, what a year it's been.
Right?
53 weeks ago, basically, yeah.
It's real weird to think about pre-vampire JoJo. Mm-hmm. It feels like so long ago. I think going through the rest of part 4, 5, and 6 would almost be another year.
Sounds about right.
I think so, yeah.
Just reflecting on that, it's been, I mean, obviously a lot has changed in the narrative. But no, it's been a wonderful, wonderful project. We're at roughly the halfway point of JoJo's as it stands today. And so I'm looking forward to another year. Absolutely.
It's going to be really weird when eventually this podcast would get resurrected for when part 7 gets animated and we just got to wait. I'm curious, actually, if Part 7 will get animated sooner, actually, because there were some additional trademarks for Part 7 that were filed fairly recently, before, I think, the Part 6 anime debuted. So maybe because it's getting Netflix money, they're going to push for that stuff to get animated sooner. Because usually David Productions ends up doing several other projects between each JoJo, so it's usually 2-ish years in between each. But
those cells gotta go to work.
Yeah, I kind of enjoy Cells at Work, actually, and Cells at Work Code Black, the gritty one.
But it's been a way to mark time in a year without time.
Yeah,
it's man. Like so many things that happened across 2021. A year seems like too little and too much, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we didn't do these projects and like Final Fantasy, by the time this episode is up, Final Fantasy 7 will have been going again for a while. But like without that and this, it's just like I have no idea how I would tell time. I guess by video game conferences that have to do with my job, that's how I would mark it then. But even then, it's still just like, oof, what is time anymore?
If you've enjoyed passing the months, going through a full cycle of the seasons with us, why don't you tell people about it? Ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts and elsewhere really do help us out. Love to see them, love to read them. And apparently computers eat them for food. And if the computer eats good food, then it pushes a little button that lets other people come find us too. And that's nice.
Yeah. I hate the algorithm. But yeah, depending where you're listening to this, if you want to recommend it to other people, we are on a bunch of different places. We're on our YouTube channel, which is Chip Cheesem LPs. That's LPS, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud.
And something that's a lot more reliable and a little less terrifying than being an algorithmic hand, so you can just talk to people. You can just talk to people. You can find people in the world who are JoJo curious, JoJo fans, or people just interested in something in between unvarnished fanish appreciation and media analysis. I don't think we really do media analysis, but we gesture at it. We certainly gesture at it.
We think about JoJo maybe more than a lot of people do when they watch JoJo, I think.
And I think that's a fun space to be in, and I think it's a space that a lot of people enjoy.
Yeah.
So tell people about that.
And of course, also, if you like the podcast, if you like the Let's Plays we do and stuff, sometimes we got to buy new equipment and stuff, or we got to pay for hosting for this stuff too. So you can also support us on Patreon. It's patreon.com/ChipAndIronicus. Because the schedule can be erratic with what I'm making, the podcast has been very steady because Grant edits these and not me. It's kind of sporadic, so I don't like to give too many like tier rewards in case I can't like fulfill those, and then I feel bad about that. Even if you donate like just $1, you get everything basically. So yeah.
And sometimes, like when we go on breaks, I make sure that because the breaks are for us to pad out the backlog more, those episodes are ready to go, so patrons get them early. The break between part 3 and part 4, much shorter for patrons.
Oh yeah.
So let that be an incentive if you want one. Another incentive, if I can't make it doing this, I have to become a professional possum tracker. And I'm not good at that. I learned that.
Oh, I wish I could meet a possum. A clean one preferably, but...
I live in fear of rabies. Oh, I wish I were a possum.
But yeah, thanks everyone for sticking with us and for listening for this first year of JoJo. I'm excited for the next year of JoJo as well. And we'll see you next time.
To be continued.
Later.